Classic Wire Works Caduro, but with the X after it. Surely means it's got to be better, right? Hi there, my name's Lewis and welcome to the Neckpour. This is the whiskey review channel where I give you my thoughts and opinions on a particular bottle of whiskey from the Neckpour all the way down to the Dregs. You join me here today for what I'm pretty excited about. It's the Caduro X, the 10th anniversary release from Wire Works, celebrating 10 years of the White Peak Distillery. I was lucky enough to be able to attend their 10th birthday party this weekend just gone. And I had a really, really nice time whilst I was there and came home with a couple of bottles. Sadly, neither of which were the bourbon barrel that was in my top 5 whiskies to try for 2006 video, just up there. I recorded at the end of last year. But my mind was taken by other things that were newer and shinier whilst I was there, particularly this one. But yeah, without much further ado, I think let's get this open, pour ourselves a dram, let's have a little taste through together. Firstly, let's have a little listen to the cork. Not too bad at all. And let's pour a little measure out. As always, with these Wire Works bottles, absolutely stunning. The craftsmanship that's gone into the bottle and the design and the way it brings in the heritage of the Wire Works that is now the distillery. I think it's just so clever, wonderfully well done. And yeah, a little bit more about this bottle. So this is their, as I say, their 10th anniversary sort of special release, as it were. Limited to 1,000 bottles, fully natural, and it's 46.8%. As with the kind of general makeup of the Caduro, it's around 70% SDR, 30% bourbon cask, making it up, non-age stated. And this one is the Caduro, but with a couple of funkier things they've tried out during the last 10 years. So they've used the pétillant technique of making kind of a really weak spirit whiskey that they use to water it down, like the Special Waters releases, using the different and interesting cut points like they did in the Alter Ego release, and using a mixture of barrels from the warehouse, like in the Upwards and Downwards releases. So it's using a couple of those more sort of innovative techniques that they're doing, and that general Caduro formula, which, as anyone who's tasted it will know, is a pretty good whiskey. But yeah, that's enough talking, I think. Let's get this up to the nose. This will be the first time I've actually tried it as a whiskey. I had 2 whiskey highballs at the distillery, which were really, really lovely, made with this. But I didn't try it on its own, just on reputation alone. I knew if there was a bottle there on the shelves that was available, it was coming home with me. Straight away on the nose, getting quite a lot of tartar red fruits, things like red currants, a slightly unripe cherry, a slightly sour raspberry. A little hint of maltiness there as well. And I'm not detecting as much smoke on the nose as I was actually expecting. I think some of the Caduro that I've tasted in the past have been a bit smokier than this. And I almost expected this to be a little bit more smoky with those lower cut points, getting a bit more of those kind of darker bottom flavours coming through. But there's a lovely creaminess as well on the nose to this. Very inviting. The 46.8 is the alcohol so well integrated into this. There's nothing there. I'm not getting a huge amount of smokiness, not getting a huge amount of spiciness. Just berries, cream, and a little bit of malt sprinkled over the top. Almost with that creaminess as well, almost like a bowl of, you know, like malted cereals with some chopped up fruit on it. Maybe it's not cream, maybe it's more milk, because it's quite light on the nose. But yeah, that's very, very inviting. sticks wonderfully to the glass, looks absolutely stunning. And yeah, cheers. Very different nose to palate there. Straight away, a big whack of those kind of STR spices. Quite a toasted, warming spice. Could be cloves, cinnamon, but like they're being cooked with, not just on their own. Big kind of hit of sweetness as well, but a kind of jammy sweetness. And then lots of those same kind of fruits, but cooked down into a jam. So yeah, very fruity jam. Lots of particularly clove, particularly cinnamon. Pleasant little bit of woodiness there. And a little bit of kind of really dark chocolate I get on that as well. Because it's a slightly drying chocolate. It's not super sweet. But yeah, very, very pleasant palate. Very nice. Really enjoyable. Then through to the finish. Wet tobacco, leather, butterscotch, and there's almost a little hint of something a little bit peppery that's probably those sort of wood tannins on the STRs coming through right at the end. But that's a wonderful, wonderful experience. The way it kind of goes from such a lighter nose through and just gets heavier and heavier and heavier, oilier and oilier and oilier. It's a massive, my whole mouth feels coated with it. It's super oily, super thick, super rich. I've got a lovely warmth running all the way down. And that's just a very, very well-crafted whiskey. The only thing I'd like to do, and I think they've done this very, very cleverly, is releasing it at the exact same ABV as the regular Caduro release. Not a bottle I've ever owned myself. But now I think I'd be pretty interested to buy one of those and try them side by side. And obviously, pretty much the same spirit, give or take the slightly different cut points, matured in the same barrels, probably for a similar amount of time, and just see how all these extra little techniques that have gone into this one compared to the much more standard distillery practices that have gone into the normal Caduro release. See how the two of them actually match up, what the differences are, and actually just which one's better. Because it might be this one's had a bit more tinkered with, and while it's exceptional, the Caduro might be slightly better. It's, as I say, it's not a bottle I've owned. I've only ever had drams of it. And, you know, often they're not always the first dram of the day. Your palate might be tainted by the things you've been having. There's all these other things that I'm really enjoying that. But is it better? And again, it's slightly more expensive. This one was £75 as opposed to £60 for the regular Caduro. Is this one £15 better as well is another thing to know. But heck, I'm a sucker for a limited release. So it was always going to be something I was pretty keen on. But no, very, very good whiskey and really, really, really enjoyable and a great distillery. And I'm very lucky in that it's my closest distillery as well. So it's certainly something you'll be seeing a few more bottles of in the channel in time to come, I'm sure. But before I waffle on too much more about how great I think this particular bottle is, I think that's about where we'll leave this one today. I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me here today. Really does mean a lot to me. You take time out of your day to spend a bit of it with me. If you've enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button down below. Got any thoughts on this release? Anything else from White Peak and Wire Works? Or if there's anything you'd like to see me review, drop that down in the comments. I'll be sure to get back to you on that one. And if you've really enjoyed it, please do consider hitting that subscribe and the notification bell to inform next time I post. It really does mean the world to me. But other than that, until the next time, I'd just like to say again, thank you so much for joining me here today. And until then, cheers, Salantia, and I'll see you again.